Welcome back, Pixel Nation. How you guys doing? I have we're supposed to have a full house tonight. Corrupt is supposed to be joining, as well as Spike, who just joined. So we're live, Spike, just to let you know. Speaking of the devil.
Yeah. How goes it, guys? I see we have
Hey,
a
Spike.
full house.
Yes. We're supposed to be expecting Corrupt as well, so it will be an even fuller house. So what I was wanting to talk about tonight is I'm sure over the weekend you guys saw all the tweets going on from the pros about how comics are for everyone and there's no room for racism, bigotry, misogyny, blah, 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 blah. You know, the usual spiel.
Yeah, comics are for everyone. We will determine at a later date, however, if you qualify as everyone or if you will be systematically unpersoned and invalidated as an entity.
Yes.
I love Nerd Wonder's idea of taking their little thing that they did and putting this is what Comicsgate is all about. I love that. I'm glad I did it. It's just, big middle finger to them. Plus telling them that in spite of what maybe a couple of bad actors do, this is what we're really about. So shove it.
That's I still have it pinned in my Twitter.
Yeah, but that's not just a couple of bad actors. To them, that's all we are because...
And that's why they're racist. That's why they're sexist. And that's why they're homophobes, because they equate one with all.
I was going to write my own sort of personalized version of that, and I never got around to it.
I was too. I ended up retweeting comic Perch's one that he had. His was actually really good. I don't like the carbon copy in tweeting something out. I'd rather go and kind of say my own piece, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I do that.
Oh, holy shit! Is it Miranya's birthday? Is that what I'm seeing in the comments here?
Miranya shares a birthday with Jack Kirby.
Yeah, that's
wow.
Cool,
happy birthday, Miranya, and
happy birthday
Jack
to
Kirby.
you. Happy birthday to you. That's my little bit about Marilyn Monroe, but with a deeper voice. So
you actually have a pretty decent singing voice.
Happy
that
birthday,
was not bad.
dear Miranya. Happy birthday to you.
He could always do "Happy Birthday, Mr. President." Yeah, just saying.
I wonder how many people we would trigger with that, given the current state of the presidency.
Happy birthday to you.
Okay, you can stop
now it's awkward.
Yeah, it crossed over into creepy real quick there.
But that was so epically creepy. It was fantastic.
Yes. Yes,
like I'm thinking David Lynch movie for a second there. I was like, should I be slowly backing away from my phone?
And that is the game I bring whenever I comb high schools for dates.
Yes, you should be backing away, Dalton. Watch out for the bad touch. Okay.
Totally not going to be taken out of context and quote mind all hell.
Oh, of course, man.
In the era of Me Tooism.
Well, thank God I wasn't up for Guardians of the Galaxy 3, or I would be fired by now.
Speaking of Me Too, I saw a video. It was just, I think it was a Swedish comedian actually making fun of all the social justice.
Was he wearing a chef's outfit?
No. He was doing a sketch about crime, and he said, "Okay, we can't actually describe the person because that would be racist." All right, and just a bunch of stuff about all the political correct stuff in Sweden. It's hilarious.
Objective descriptions of things, that's racist, stroke sexist, stroke homophobic, as to be determined later.
What were his motives? We can't tell you his motives either. Because that might offend somebody.
that's fantastic. Okay, so guys, overall, what is kind of your reaction to all this? From the pros.
Well, considering we did a couple of 4-hour long live streams on it recently, I think it's getting tiresome. It really is just angered. In all honesty, I find myself getting angered by it, as well as finding it possibly the funniest shit that has ever happened. And part of it is because they do and say hateful and anything. If they saw any one of us say the same things that they say, they would say that it's racist and homophobic and the whole 9 yards. The fact that they do call Mystery a white supremacist and
a Nazi. He got called a Nazi on your stream by Matt.
I know, wasn't that fun?
That was wonderful.
Dalton's a homophobe, and it just goes to show I am convinced they don't know what they're talking about. And by that, I mean, I don't think they've seen any of the things that they say they have seen. They're just attacking because their friend said their friend wants something one day. But then to, me and my brother, God bless him. I posted this in our DMs, but it impressed me that my big brother stood up for me on Twitter. This one guy starts jumping in, and I can take him, but Jack joins in, and it's like, dude, you're fucking gone now. It's like that scene in Austin Powers 3 where Michael Caine goes, "Look at you, you're not even wearing a name tag. Do you have any idea how many unknown henchmen I've killed? Just lay down." Just lay down. And that's what I thought when this guy comes up and he's debating me, and then Jack jumps up. I'm just like, just lay down. Lay down now. You're done already. You just don't know it.
The funny thing is, man, Jack, I love Jack. When he's off, he's off. But dude, when he is on, he is fucking on.
And one thing that we have learned, of course, is you see the small words that change meaning of words. And or, those kind of things can completely change meanings of what they're saying. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times they fall apart because they're going to call you a racist because they don't want to debate the real debate. What ends up happening is you are debating a subject, any subject, it doesn't matter what it is, then they call you racist. And now you're not debating the subject anymore. You're debating the debate. You're arguing, you're defending yourself from the racist comment. And what we do the same thing back to them. We're very good at turning it around, going, wait a second. If you say this, then really what you're talking about is you hate black people.
Well, but that's kind of why I try my damnedest to throw out the moral variable whatsoever.
Accidentally.
The
thing is, with them, in all honesty, you can't. Because that's all they work on. Their entire thing, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I know. Which is why if you shut the moral dichotomy down, they'll shut up.
And
they'll climb up and go away and fuck off.
The only way you can do that with them is to show them that morally they are wrong. Because if you go at them with facts, they're just going to go, well, obviously you're a bigot, you're a racist, you're a homophobe.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened. That's what happened on your stream.
Yeah.
I think it's different for different people. Like, they do tend to ignore me or stuff like that when they find out who I am.
Yeah.
And also, there's this little thing that also happened in the weekend, that Ethan Van Sciver got sexually harassed on Twitter by any fucking definition you like, and by Twitter's guidelines. And these people actually started to defend a behavior like that. And I was like, okay, so unsolicited dick pics, is that no longer sexual harassment because you don't like Ethan Van Sciver?
Yeah, unsolicited asshole pics. That's beautiful. You notice how really quickly Robbie Rodriguez went and privated like all of his fucking tweets.
What a dumbass.
I mean, that's fucking retarded, man.
Been no repercussions either.
Yeah, that is. Have you ever thought of a GoFundMe division?
For what?
Yeah, if you can't get super chats, maybe a GoFundMe on this so people can go donate, or do a one time if they didn't want to do a Patreon.
I was probably thinking about doing like some sort of Patreon or something.
Yeah.
I think Patreon does.
You'd better PayPal it don't you? Like, because on Patreon you have to like subscribe, and it's like a different type of thing because you have to deliver the goods, or you have to. It's a monthly payment.
Yeah, I would love for YouTube to actually do something like this with the
Well,
videos
I thought they
and
started something like that.
they did in what you call it, beta or something like that. And
Yeah.
YouTube takes like what, 30%?
Oh yeah. Well, actually, what it is the super chat, the thing that they've got now. You can watch not the super chat, but the live chat. You're able to watch it because of some sort of AT&T software or something like that, and because they're using it, it's an extra fee. So any super chat, they take 30%. Part of it goes to AT&T, and part of it goes to Google. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's some.
Well, that's another thing too. I have BitChute set up too, and I mirror all of my live streams there. So if people want, they could probably go and just do like a tip there if they're interested. But I haven't set the monetization stuff yet.
Oh, seriously, this is YouTube is owned by Google. I'm pretty sure they could create something in-house for God's sakes.
Yeah.
No, there simply is no reason why you don't have super chats, even if you don't have like a lot of following. I mean, it's the people who are watching you are paying you, so it doesn't have to do with advertisers. It doesn't have to do with anything else. There really is no excuse for there not to be a super chat in every single live stream, regardless of what your stance is as a partner.
Well, their logic is that beyond a certain threshold, you can then be considered somewhat respectable. So they have to essentially police who and who isn't respectable. Otherwise, people who are uncouth and unrespectable might get a following.
Yeah,
we can't have that.
No, I understand. I'm just saying, like,
I'll tell you what I'm afraid of is what's been going around with like Captain Cummings and such, where you just get up one day and all your shit is missing.
Is that what happened to him?
No, Captain Cummings, I talked to him, and his videos, he just wants to, he's doing, university and stuff, and he just wants to be clear of all this stuff until he's ready to come back.
Okay. Well, I've heard it happened to somebody else, so I thought it was like a thing they were doing, but he actually nuked it. It was him.
Yeah, he actually left up he wants to do a cooking channel too. He told me once. So
yeah,
if you go to his channel, you can see a lot of food related stuff.
Which if you ever saw his older stuff, he was doing cooking and stuff like that. So that makes sense. Well, good luck.
Is he
to
like
him.
going to culinary school, or what's he?
No,
doing?
he's studying history, and he's in the, I don't know what exact branch of the military he is, but he's also doing a lot of that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, good luck to him. I hope hope he has all sorts of success and everything with
hopefully he doesn't I'm glad he did lose his channel, so him going and privating stuff is cool.
The thing is, when he comes back, it's a completely different audience. So
I have to take
rebuilding.
This semester I have to take a class on Nazism and Hitler, so God only knows the minefield of hair dye and soy I'm about to walk into.
Well, hopefully you're going to get a good history teacher, because I always found World War II and the rise of Hitler and what happened with Germany to be pretty interesting, and it's interesting to see that what a bad situation and a bunch of random events caused this to happen. It's crazy. It literally is like wrong place, wrong time caused Hitler to rise to power. Okay.
It's even interesting because it's like, it's not you cannot separate World War I and World War II, and you separate the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Even Mexico was affected by we had an Austrian emperor. We were part of that empire that fell down, and that's when Hitler got mad. It's very complex but very interesting, and as a writer, I always think like you have to study history, because that way you can see how interactions work, how consequences and stuff happen, and you can incorporate them because they are natural narratives. So you can learn from a natural narrative to make your own one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I was watching a video today on History Hub, and it was talking about the whole thing with Stalin, the rise of Stalin. I found that to be kind of interesting. Okay, so Major Tom is saying that I'm starting to lose interest in modern comics as a whole. It's all just so much noise at this point, and I don't see a solution. Maybe I'll just stick to back issues.
I do. If you really want to know, stop following Twitter. That would be number one. Two would be stay with anything Donny Cates writes as far as Marvel is concerned. I think you got one issue left of Good Daredevil with Charles Soule. After that, I have no idea who's going to snag it. As far as DC is concerned, the field is open until Kelly gets a hold of Aquaman. And enjoy.
G. Willow Wilson is taking control of Wonder Woman.
We'll see, because G. Willow Wilson is one of those coin flips. You might get something good, you might get something bad.
That I've picked up, I've never liked a single thing that she's written.
But as far as this, it's, I think, just leave it on the page. I know some people can't do that. I was just on a live stream with Weaponized Nerd Rage, and a friend of his, Andrea, who was saying she can't just leave it on the page. So yeah, fucking turn off Twitter.
Well, there's other options actually. Today I was having a lovely chat with Lynn and Stepan Sajic on Twitter, and they have books you can actually read for free on their Deviant, which are two of my favorite books right now, Sunstone and Bloodstain. And you can also, like, I read a lot of Udon comics too. And you will never see someone from Udon. They are only centered in doing their art.
That's another one. Just stick with, well, I can't say all independents, but a lot of independents.
There's something out there for everyone. There's something out there for everyone.
I'm getting to the point where I'm ready to ditch the majority of like my mainline Marvel and DC. I'm really enjoying the New Age of Heroes stuff.
Yeah, and Perfect and Brimstone.
Yeah.
I
there's Corrupt.
What up, Corrupt?
He's muted.
I mentioned on Webstream the new Teen Titans thing. Everybody's like, "Oh, Lobo's got a daughter." What the hell? This storyline has been pretty damn good. So,
sorry. I really hate the blue. Blue round guy.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. All right. Hey, sorry about that. I got caught up in traffic. Also, Spike, I sent you my email address.
Oh, you didn't get? I already sent you the files.
Okay, sorry about that.
The X-Files.
I've been stuck in traffic.
I sent him some XXX files.
I see.
Okay, but let me tell you about the amazing day that I had. I got a fucking flat tire after being stuck in traffic for hours, and then I just sat around for hours. It was fucking awful.
Oh,
welcome to the human race, Corrupt.
God damn, that was fucking awful.
That was your whole day?
Shit, that was my whole day. Just sitting around for hours. And then
some of that shit can be bad, especially if you don't have like a spare tire or you're stuck. I actually had my car break down in the middle of rush hour traffic in a 2-lane highway. And of course, everyone's fucking honking at you. And it's not like you could do anything. It's like you can't really get out and push because you can't. Unfortunately, a police officer showed up with push bumpers and was able to push me off the highway. But holy shit, dude. People are dicks, man. I mean, I get that I'm inconveniencing you, but
that's why they're called
I can't
honkies.
do anything.
That's why they're called honkies.
You could have texted me. I wasn't doing anything today. I would have gladly sat there and talked to you while you were stuck in traffic.
I actually thought about texting you back, but then I'm like, all I was gonna do is just bitch about how pissed off I was, and then I was like, I don't want to bore anybody.
Dude,
somebody bitching on a live stream? Why I have never.
Like I keep telling you, I don't care if you do talk to me, just event.
Okay. Like, my thing is, I don't want to bore the shit out of anybody with just really stupid shit. That's why.
I was already doing basically stupid shit all day today. The only thing I did was watch a couple movies that I got at the mall yesterday. So
Okay, my bad then. All right, I'll do that next time. Sorry about that. I'll probably text you like after this live stream. Also.
All right, guys. So getting back to the topic at hand, with art comics for everyone, and I saw a interesting tweet by Eric Larson where he's like, comics as an industry as a whole, yes, are for everybody, but for the most part, not all books are for everybody. And for the most part, I have to agree with his statement. But ultimately,
Like
my
Savage
issue,
Dragon.
like Savage Dragon is obviously not for everyone. But I do feel that there is a bit of hypocrisy because I'm going to just use a few random examples here, and we can kind of throw in our opinions. So, Batgirl, that's obviously a book that is intended to be for women and girls. And it's okay to have that, and it's okay for guys to like that. But you have people like Gail Simone or what's her fucking name?
Kelly Sue?
Yes, Kelly Sue. Kelly Sue DeConnick saying, don't buy my stuff, it's not for you, blah, blah, blah. So I do feel like there is a bit of hypocrisy there because
no one buys it.
Yeah, there's that too. But it seems like if you have a comic book that is geared just for men or straight white men or whatever, it's like, oh, you're not being inclusive. So I do feel like there is a double standard.
It's okay for them to invade quote unquote men's spaces, but not for men to want anything from their space.
That's the thing, because they actually were going against Peter Parker Spider-Man, saying the problem is that Peter Parker is white, not that, there's Miles Morales, there's my character who's Mexican, Magneto Jr., there's plenty of Spider-Man to choose from, but Peter Parker must not be white, and that's the postmodernist Marxism going into
drink.
Yeah,
it
exactly.
wasn't me that said it this time. I'm not sure you can drink.
Oh yeah, okay.
I didn't say it this time.
No, but that's the thing. It's where does it stop? Because it's kind of like the same thing with Facebook. Let's say that, oh, you don't like how we do things? Well, use another service. There's no other Facebook moron. There's no other Marvel. And especially at Marvel, they've been insulting the customers, making very low quality product, insulting the creators because they keep hiring people with no experience, while there are a lot of creators who are working there that it took them blood and fucking lean to get their Marvel work years ago.
Yeah, but before we get too far stuck into sort of that side of it, I just want to say how much it annoys me when they do this thing where they'll say something that on the face of it is like trivial and banal and perfectly benign, but they'll tie it together with this ethos where it means things other than what the as written definition would be, and then whenever you call them on the obvious implications of what they're saying, they'll just go, what, I just said this trivial and banal thing, aren't you for this trivial and banal thing? It's basically the essence of virtue signaling. It's, I'm going to tie this banal good thing together with this context of something that I know I'm going to get shit for, and then whenever someone actually has the balls to give me shit for it, then I'll just tie it back to the banal thing that I tethered it to, and then make it look like they just hate the banal virtue signaling thing I said, as opposed to the intent and the ethos behind it.
The thing you have to remember is you're talking to overgrown children, so you have to treat them that way. I mean, you cannot have like an academic dialectic with them. If you treat them like children, trust me, they shut the hell up, or they leave you alone. They get mad. Whatever, they react like children because that's what they are. They know they are doing this type of kindergarten.
Yeah, they're Harvard educated 2-year-olds is the way I like to put it. Basically.
What I got out of all of that is that I want to make, package, and market the essence of virtue signaling perfume to social justice warriors. I think that would be quite a success.
I think Angleton, I think it will smell like horse shit. So I think it'll be pretty easy.
What's funny is that I've never had I've had them deny like my race and shit before, but never after being given repeated pictures.
Yes, I saw that. That guy was insane. He did it to both of us too.
It was hilarious. And then like the dude jumped on some sock account to basically call me a coon and say that I enable bigotry because I'm silent or something about it, and that like people like me enable the bigots and the hate mobs.
Yeah, it's that old adage of if you're indifferent to oppression, then you're secretly condoning it or passively condoning it.
What's funny is that he doesn't even know my opinions on oppression. He just assumed because like I'm CG, that means that I don't care about people being oppressed.
Yeah, it's funny because it didn't happen to me. It happened to Mr. Canalus, the guy who draws Ironsides. People, when they found out he was Hispanic because he's from Spain, people were saying, "Oh, what do you think about Frankism?" No one is in favor of Frankism in Spain, moron. It's like they are trying to find like the secret conservative Hispanic, and the guy, even if he's conservative, he wouldn't be for Frankism. Frankism was about killing the Republicans.
They're looking for Comics Division secret Hispanic Nazis that he was telling us about on a previous stream.
Will those be the ones that escaped to Brazil after World War II?
Oh yeah, I do. It's kind of known that there's people who escaped. They even went to the United States. It's not a secret, but I mean, we are talking about how many people? 50? 500 of them among what? There's 1 billion people in the Americas.
Yeah,
not 1 billion. I think like 300 million.
No, in the Americas, the entire continent.
Oh well, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people here. I don't exactly remember how many. But one of the issues that this isn't just comics where this kind of attitude is, present. You see the same thing within, video games as well as kids' toys. It's like I was using Lego as an example earlier before we, started the stream and whatnot. I was talking about that, where Lego was getting a lot of shit because you have things that are geared towards boys, and then you have things that are geared towards girls, and they want to make the stuff for boys be more gender neutral, but it's like there's nothing preventing girls from liking, Legos that are made for boys, and kind of vice versa. So I don't understand why everybody has to make either thing gender neutral or inclusive. I find it.
It's not even gender neutral. Or inclusive. It's you can make things for females, and then you can make things for gender neutral people that are also feminine. Like nothing can be distinctly for boys or
because basically historical norms. Because in their minds, and I stress the in their minds part, all of history was focused on the male perspective. So by focusing anything or allowing anything to be focused on the male perspective, you essentially take the path of historical least resistance and only sort of add to the already pervasive control of the patriarchy, as opposed to when you take the effort to purposely focus things on women and or everyone in a gender neutral sense, you're dismantling the locus of power that men had throughout all history.
No, but what does that mean? Because have you seen Voltaire? He looks like a fucking drag queen, and the guy was the norm of males in those periods of revolution.
Their conception of history is entirely false. I'm just stating basically what they would think.
Oh no, of course, no. I understand that. That's the point. I mean, and it's exactly what Comics Division say, like, what's preventing you to buying this shit or that shit? And on top of that, I think making the argument that, oh, you have to buy this for boys, you have to buy this for girls, is like, well, your identity is kind of mostly a fashion statement, dude. You can wear anything and don't make a big deal about it.
I remember, was it just some guy was talking about something with manga? There's like a type of manga that is geared towards boys, but girls also like it.
Oh, it's
but nobody's complaining.
It's shonen manga. It has a massive
okay.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, nobody's complaining about the fact that it's geared towards boys, but girls like it anyway.
It's geared towards boys from like little boys to like teens. But it's also
grown men like it too.
Yeah, it's also popular with adults. And grown men.
It's like fucking Batman. Everybody can read Batman regardless of what the transgender trend they want to identify as. They can just buy the fucking book and read it.
Pretty much, yeah. Like a lot of like Spike said, it's made for young boys and older teens, and it has a female fan base. You can do that with Batman. Batman has female fans too.
You can give Batgirl because I enjoyed Batgirl Volume 3.
No, there's not even one Batgirl. There's Batwoman. You have Stephanie. You have Babs. You have Candy. I mean, it's not that there's not even I mean, you can read like Batman, or you can have the options. They are there. There's no reason to, go out of your way to modify characters that already had 50 years of history, or, convert the entire line into what they perceive as young adult, which is not really a genre, which basically just means they are writing crappy stories that read like, the worst possible Saturday morning cartoon from the early 90s or late 80s or something.
But this is the thing, right? Despite what auteur theorists and everybody wants you to believe, an author doesn't really have that much control over who they appeal to. You can target your stuff at a particular demographic or a particular subset of the population all day long, but if it has universal appeal, people are going to like it almost universally, because that's how art works. You don't get to decide whether your stuff has value. People are drawn to value, and that speaks for itself.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. If you want, I know these people are Marxist and hate capitalism, but at least I think their narcissism demands for them to have an audience. If I was just as narcissistic as them, I would be thinking, well, what can I do to get, the praise from the masses? Instead of, I'm going to make this shit and no one's going to read it. It's made for ghosts, because you have to be disembodied to fucking like this.
But this is the problem with that. And I agree that your conception of that makes perfect sense in a rational brain. However, because these people are not rational under most circumstances, you have to keep in mind that they're also incredibly elitist. And that kind of narcissism you're talking about is what actually leads them to be moralizing pricks, because they don't actually care what people do like. They want to be the people to assert what people should like. And if you don't like what they deem you should like, then your opinion doesn't matter, and so it doesn't feed into their narcissism.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened with Battlefield 5. They made a disabled female frontline soldier in World War II that beats enemies to death.
They had a bionic arm and purple hair.
She had a bionic fucking arm. She looked like a.
And then when people got mad about it, the head of the studio said literally, "Hey, if you don't like it, don't buy the game." And
she looked like
she didn't buy the game, and now the guy's out.
Oh, she looked like she should be leading Hydra or something. Like, what the fuck?
Well, here's the thing that I don't get. If they wanted to go that route, we know that Russians had female snipers. Why didn't they do that instead? That's actually historically accurate.
Yeah, they made her British because she spoke with a really thick British accent.
But they could have made her
because Russians are probably because Russians are the enemy of progressives currently.
Even though they believe the exact same thing.
Accuracy is a social construct that we can't feed into because norms of history.
Russians are
Also,
Russians are the enemy now.
Also,
you know?
it wouldn't be bad if like they
Putin is
put a
Trump.
female character in like the French resistance, but the fact that she was like a frontline soldier who's missing an arm. Like,
no, you wouldn't even have a male frontline soldier missing an arm. Come on.
She could also outrun cars and shit, apparently.
So I gotta ask you guys: did any of you guys see the playthrough footage for Cyberpunk 2077?
Yes.
no.
What did you think of it? Oh, it's fucking awesome.
I liked it, although I'm not as familiar with the Cyberpunk franchise as I probably should be, so I don't really.
Okay.
I don't really have much faith in my opinion there. I'll leave it to people who know the franchise a little better than I do.
I did.
I thought it was pretty spot on with, I played that game when I was in high school, and I'm a huge fan of Mike Pondsmith, and I think that CD Projekt Red did a damn good job of capturing the mood that is Cyberpunk.
Comics division. I did see a lot of people.
You want to know what's sad?
That,
you know how I found out
only
about
two
it?
genders you could select in the game.
Hang on, Crap. Mystery's talking. Sorry, Mystery.
No, that's what
I saw a lot of people upset that there was only two genders you could select in the game.
Are you fucking serious?
Yes.
Yes, that was a thing.
Who fucking cares, man? That fucking ridiculous.
And while we're on the subject of politically triggering video games, did you see the mass flip out over Doom Eternal and how awesome it was?
Oh yeah.
Because they were like, you're making fun. Basically, they were making fun of SJWs, and SJWs got angry. That's pretty much it. I was gonna say how I found out about this.
And they never apologized. That's awesome.
What's funny is how I found out about the Cyberpunk thing was from Polygon crying about them not having a non-binary option. Being angry about it, like they don't have a non-binary. Who cares? You don't care. No one.
Then make a really masculine-looking woman and a very feminine-looking man. You can do that.
Here's the thing, too. Ultimately, maybe zero. The only people who care are people who aren't going to buy the game anyway.
Yeah, I know.
Give a shit.
Yeah, there actually was a lot of regarding that as well. There was a lot of people posting how these people were actually admitting they don't even buy the fucking games.
Yeah, see, this is the thing. Dear SJWs, if you hate capitalism, that is fine. But don't then act as though capitalism is supposed to cuck to your moral standards and then not even follow through on the actual making sure it does by way of buying the shit, please.
Well, the funny thing is these are the exact same people that will complain under socialism or communism. Because they will be fucking oppressed.
Oh yeah, but that way you have gulags, so it doesn't matter. Unlike with
exactly.
market societies,
there's free housing.
Okay, here's the thing, though.
There's a reason why socialism and communism are always popular with the bourgeois middle class, who want to virtue signal for the working class, as opposed to the actual working and working poor classes, because anyone who is in the actual working class knows how the working class works well enough to know those things do not apply. Fuck off.
There's a reason it's called working class.
Yeah, here's the thing, though. They think that when communism or socialism, whatever happens, they're the ones that are going to be the decision makers.
No, man. They're going to be the first ones to get the bullet to the head.
Yeah, pretty much. Here's the thing, too, right? Because one of my ex-boyfriend or whatever was one of these soft SJW types. They're out of touch and they're basically rebelling against their awful parents. So they like being on hipster welfare where they live comfortably, but if they want something, they have to ask their rich parents for it. This is basically just hipster welfare.
No,
I
the
have to
other thing
agree
is-
with you. I really do.
The other thing is capitalism is not even a political philosophy. Capitalism is it's an economical economical thing that happens almost naturally. Even if we are talking about the Cold War, it's not like the USSR didn't have trade agreements with other nations and there was money involved and there was they weren't buzzing around Iran. Iran is still Islamist as fuck. They don't even ascribe to modern political philosophies. They are still a theocratic monarchy, basically. So that's the thing. They don't even understand. We're living in a world where most of the systems today in the West are what we call liberal socialism in political philosophy. It's a capitalistic way to have a mixed market economy where capitalism actually fits into the government and their programs.
Yeah, essentially liberalism. The issue is when we get neoliberalism, which is capitalism run amok, and that's the problem.
It's corporatism. That's the real term, because neoliberalism is kind of like a buzzword. They neoconservatives throw to the neolibs, but both are fucking corporatists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will always say this whenever someone gives me shit for proudly advocating for capitalism. Capitalism is not the problem. Corporatism is the problem.
Yeah,
exactly.
I agree. And a good example of that would be the whole privatization of prisons and shit like that. That's it's fucked up.
That's just fucked up.
Yeah, it's big time fucked up. But that's a perfect example of capitalism out of control. I mean, it's bad for people. But overall, capitalism as a system is not inherently a bad thing.
Not really. No, there are abuses of it, but any system can be abused. That's just how that shit works.
Given just based on basic premises, capitalism has a far better track record for actually accounting for the variables of human goddamn nature, as opposed to basically bifurcating human nature and expecting people to always act by their best impulses, and or completely postmoderning human nature out of existence and saying it's a social construct, a la Rousseau, Foucault, or even Locke sometimes.
Everything's a social construct.
The thing is, the other thing that they forget is that liberal capitalism lets them be as communist as they want. If they want to build a fucking commune and they can live like fucking, the USSR, they are able to do that. Unlike if we were all, communist, we would all have to, be working in the fucking fields and stuff. I mean, if they want to play USSR, they can buy their land and do it over there. They have the liberty to. That's the beauty of having liberties.
No skill, so they would just starve to death eventually.
Yeah, I mean, I know, but they have the opportunity to experience it firsthand.
Opportunities leave too much room for freedom and failure. Therefore, the first step to any communist or socialist worth their salt is to advocate a system that abolishes as many choices as possible so that they can essentially work everything down to its basic variables and then try to control those basic variables. And because, the world is complicated and some variables are irreducible, that's never going to work and will always end in bloodshed, because humans don't simplify like that, you stupid fucks.
Yeah, it only works with ants and stuff.
Okay, JT Gamer, I don't know if you getting into comic books this year is a good thing or a bad thing. I guess it was better getting into this year than, let's say, last year.
Or better yet, just forego the modern
don't read anything past 2010.
That's the thing, though. That's something I don't think it's said a lot, but you do know that most of the sales, those obscure sales that Marvel and DC people always talk about, most of them are usually old stuff, like reprints for Daredevil by Frank Miller and stuff. No, not back issues. Back issues are more of collectors, comic book store market nowadays. But what they do reprint every single year, like Watchmen, like The Dark Knight Returns, those are big evergreen sellers. They have been selling millions for 30 years.
Yeah, how many copies does Nightfall sell? And yet Chuck Dixon is now a pariah.
You have to go to the Hatchet site and look into that, because they are the ones who distribute to like Amazon and Barnes and Nobles and all those types of outlets. And you have to pay for that information, I think.
That's ridiculous. Go figure. Anyway, all right. Sorry, I'm gonna try and steer this back to the topic. We got on a bit of a economic rant. That happens when you have this many people on a stream. We go on a tangent sometime. But overall, what do you guys think? And I know I kind of asked this, but not everybody had a chance to answer. What are your thoughts on what happened over the weekend with all the pros chanting that comics are for everybody, blah, 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 blah. And then we had our retort back where we agreed with them that, racism, sexism, blah, 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 blah should not, be in comics and whatnot.
From my perspective, when I first saw the post, my first thought was, who are you? And then my second thought was, oh, you're a tool. So...
My 2 cents on the matter is, the more we unsettle them and the more we trigger them, the better of a sign it is, because it means we're getting under their skin, which means we're having an effect. And the more they try to belittle us and say we're a joke as a result of them very obviously getting triggered, the more they're being cognitively dissident, and the more likely they are to do outrageous shit. And the more outrageous shit they do, the more mistakes they're going to make.
I think you're correct in the impact. This let's not forget who were behind this. They were either people, true believers of the SJW cause, who are really menaced, or people who have no idea and happen to be friends with them because they look at their faces every single convention. On the other hand, there has always been a silent majority of creators, actually, who just stay out, but they see and they do notice these kinds of behavior. And it was very telling, for example, that going back to the EBS thing, the guy who came out and said, well, hold on, this is not good, was Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman, I think, was the only response I saw who was condemning, having someone send unsolicited aspects to, a professional.
So, Spike, as a professional, what do the SJW pros within the industry actually think about all this shit?
The thing is, these people have, for starters, they have to work with them.
Yeah.
So that's.
I'm not asking you to name names. Just asking.
No. I'm not about names and stuff. I'm just trying to explain the situation, why people are, not that vocal. They don't join sites or whatever. It's kind of like
in a hard place.
Not only that, but it's kind of like the elections. You have to sway votes. You're not gonna turn the true believers or neither side, and because these people actually notice stuff. For example, a lot of professionals I know firsthand are pissed about hiring Eve Ewing because she made a petition, because that diminishes their work, that diminishes the whole industry.
Did you said about that?
Yeah, no, it's people who do have pride for their work, which there is many still, and you can they're working in the books and they are usually good books. These people see that this is a real problem, and they see that this cannot end well, and they see that the Comicron ICB2 report of 2017 was down a lot. All the progress made in the last 2 years went downhill. So it should be worrisome for people working in the industry who take their work seriously, and it's happening. There's people that do care about this.
I feel like well, we all know what's going on, right? The people on Twitter, the people who are writing and doing the work for it, they don't care because a lot of them are contractors. They already got paid, so I don't give a shit. And they'll just move on anyway. They're like locusts, so they don't really care about any of this shit. Honestly.
No, and all these people know they can weaponize their identity. There's something this, other, and that.
Yeah.
But you know, most of the people working in comics can't and don't care about it. And they were people who, you know, have been through it through the decades. So they know how hard it is to, you know, break in. To now come 2018, you have to make a petition and basically get. They didn't even get like a lot of signatures. They were like 3,000.
Is there, and they have no way of talking to anyone either, right? Because they're just so.
No, yeah, there's people who talk, and there's, you know, it depends on your circle. You know, it's kind of like with those people who support or Comicsgate or are, you know, aligned or whatever.
Yeah,
we have like little groups. We don't are not necessarily fighting each other, but
they're not.
I talk to you guys, and for example, I've never in my life talked to Nurkish. I don't understand his channel. I don't wish him any ill will, but I don't understand his channel.
Oh, so they're not like isolated or something. They still have.
Yeah, no. I mean, all these people. I mean, we talk at conventions or, you know, Facebook. Everybody's in Facebook, and you know, you actually work through Facebook because you're usually working with someone who's not even in your state.
And that reminds me, like, if this goes through, I need to get myself a Facebook, right? Shit. Well, I need to get myself a more professional Facebook. So,
a more professional Facebook,
dude. My current Facebook is about a bunch of MOBA games. There you go. That's what my current Facebook is. It's MOBA games and me retweeting sexy anime characters. Like that's my.
That's perfectly acceptable. That has always been acceptable with comic book people, man.
True, but
I don't have a Mr. Eve Facebook. I just have my personal one.
Okay, so I wasn't okay. Okay, then I guess I'll go with that.
I don't give two shits about Facebook anymore. I don't even use my personal one. I just use it to wish people happy birthday.
Yeah.
My personal Facebook is literally for like a couple of my friends from high school and then mostly my family. And I hardly ever post there because most of the stuff that I do on a daily basis is stuff that is either on, you know, Discord or Twitter or one of the other social networks. And I don't want my family seeing it, not because I'm ashamed, but because none of them would get it, and I would have to answer all the "what the hell is this thing going on?" questions that I just don't know.
Here's the thing about Facebook. When I first got it, I was in high school, so you know I followed up like all the other kids in high school, but I didn't really like any of the kids in high school, so I never really posted anything. And then my family started following them. Like, okay, you're my family, so you already know what's going on with me, so I don't have any reason to post there. And I just like only post on like memes and like history things. So like very little of my personal life is at all on Facebook.
Hey, this just kind of came up. I don't know how old it is, but did y'all know there was some weirdly threatening article posted on something called Paste Magazine?
I'd have to see the article.
It's like, what is
really
it?
Threatening article about what?
It's like, well-intentioned Comicsgate won't be defeated by well-intentioned tweets alone. So I'm gonna.
Yeah, I read that. It's ironic too because at the end, they kind of call the anti-comic book pros racist because the article said that they didn't stick up for any of the black people or transgender people, only for Russia Cook.
Wait. So they're basically calling for violence against comicators?
Yeah,
I don't think they said violence, but I know they definitely. I know, like at the end, in an ironic twist, they called anti-comic skaters racist.
I don't know if that's an ironic twist, but because
predictable.
They turn all the time. It is.
Yeah, no, but it's funny because they have the tools to make us shut up, make a good fucking comic, you know, or if you're SJW, buy fucking comics, and then we cannot argue with capitalism. That's our power, because they are trying to beat an amorphous mass of individual consumers. That's like trying to beat the sea with your fist. That's just stupid.
Well, it depends.
like SJWs don't buy things, and a lot of these people who are brought in now.
No, I can't tell them how to win, and they will not do it because they are that stupid.
Yeah, like they don't even understand really the material, right? So they can't make a good comic. Like a lot of them don't even understand what makes a good action scene because they just don't. They're so alien to this genre that I don't think they even understand it for the most.
Well, I think the whole thing is also they're anti-violence too. So I think that's the reason why you have a lot more slice of life type comics as well.
Oh, that's true. A lot of them are anti-violence. You're right. That's why fights are so short now.
Except when it's Antifa, but also like anytime you try to explain to them a framework for what makes a good comic or what makes comics work, they'll just banish it to the dimension of the arbitrary social construct and call you an idiot or naive.
Yeah, but the thing is, we're in a point now where death of Captain Marvel is a thing that happened. So if you want to make a comic without violence, you have to be as good as Jim Starlin to make me interested.
Well, there's lots of things you can do. You could do like more political intrigue, but honestly, at some point in time, somebody's gonna get their ass kicked. Well, I think is what it comes down to. You have to have some kind of conflict, or it's going to be a very fucking boring
but these people hate conflict, even though they cause it all the time. They don't know how to handle it.
Even though they thrive on it, they hate it.
So here's something interesting, and this is what I'm glad Englentine is here because he kind of because he was the one who made me think of that. Like it was going back to the pervert, right? Like you see how like insane they are on Twitter. So you're like, oh my God, this would be amazing if they put this into the comic, but it doesn't translate.
The computer crashed.
Yeah, they have no passion for the comics.
Exactly. Like they have. Like you want that inside of the comic. I think that's what you said, Englentine. Isn't that right?
Yeah. I want to see the crazy Michelle Perez that we see on Twitter inside the comic. I want to see that kind of passion, and instead, it was a very clinical look. It was boring as fuck. I mean, it wasn't even. Dude,
seriously, be careful of what you ask for, man. Because if you read Max Bemis's run on, was it Borderlands or whatever?
Wasn't it like Crossed or something?
Crossed, that's it. Crossed.
Oh yeah, right.
Is like
okay, so
fucking scary.
Comic book. So basically, they had comic book fans as like the worst, like super religious, racist redneck stereotype. They had a woman tied up in the back because she was like for diversity, and they hated diversity so much, like they attacked you for it, and then ended up getting killed and like mostly kicked in the balls at the end or something.
But at least
I was gonna watch a Nurkish review. God, watch his Crossed review. Oh my God, that book he reviewed was fucked.
Oh my God.
But this is just me. I've read Crossed. I mean, I like Gardanis and Alan Moore. Crossed has always been sick.
Well, no, I get that, man. I mean, I have a few issues of it, but that one in particular was just like, woo! And that was Max Bemis who wrote that shit.
It was weird because comic book fans hate diversity so much that will kill you for it.
Really?
Yeah, no, and it's funny because I always bring, for example, this thing. Why is it America Chavez was never licensed in Latin America? Let alone another country, but Latin America. Are Latin Americans that fucking racist?
How bad do you think the backlash would have been for America Chavez in Latin America?
No, it's not the backlash. People know it wouldn't sell. People know it's boring and insulting.
What, you didn't like the representation of Latino people in America Chavez?
She can't even speak Spanish. Of course she's not going to fucking like make
No, we don't even care about the Spanish because we've had Richter who has never spoken Spanish in fucking American comics, and he's from my dad's hometown. The thing is, this comic sucks. It sucks. It's just unsellable. I work in licensing here. I don't see a way to sell this. I don't see why we should waste money on it.
It works. If it were a parody of itself, then maybe it could work, but it's taken seriously, so.
No, and here's the other thing. We've actually published stuff like, The Authority with Apollo and Midnighter's wedding. So it's not that Latin Americans hate gays, because we've published that. We publish here like Strangers in Paradise and stuff, and you can buy that in the most popular department stores here. So the thing is, and this is what they were talking about that time. Well, Gabriel Byrne, the vice president of sales, was talking about they don't like that diversity stuff. They were talking about the license buyers because, that's the department they are trying to sell the stuff. We already have the Comic-Con numbers. Those are public. Those are the diamond numbers. They don't care about those when they have these meetings because this is part of merchandising. International licensing is a big part of merchandising because it's international, it's a lot of business, and it's basically free money. You just have to send the fucking files and get paid for it.
I wonder how on earth they're going to merchandise Marvel Rising, because that was just a collection of characters that nobody gives a damn about.
Actually, at least here in Mexico, what's happening is this is regarding superhero comics, this is the one eating the market right now. They are basically publishing almost every single Rebirth stuff. We're still on the Rebirth thing.
Did you get 2% yet?
What was that?
Did Mexico get 2% yet? Because I know Japan got it.
I'm not so sure. I don't work with the guys who license this. I work with the guys who license Star Wars and stuff like that. So I had to look into it, but I could look into it later.
Now, I can bite my tongue for all the other things you say, but...
Okay.
That's what Stevie Savolsky told me on the weekend.
Yeah.
I gotta say though, I am really, really, really saddened by the fact that you don't appreciate America. Like, that is an amazingly terrible book. Like, it is so bad, but that's what makes it good. It's so terrible. Like, everything about it is wrong. It should not exist.
Yeah, there's literally nothing good.
It doesn't count corrupt. I tried to argue that point. It doesn't count.
Like, no, but it does.
I can't even call it mindless because she fucked up the mindless ones. God damn it!
It's brilliant.
Okay. What was her villain? Because she doesn't even have villains of her own.
It was Arcade.
Abby Rivera. Yeah, Arcade.
The Dominatrix or something. No,
yeah, there was that too.
The Exterminatrix. Her villain is a dominatrix named Exterminatrix.
Weren't they fighting like white kids who suddenly turned into monsters?
Yeah.
They were robots.
So they were robots.
Okay.
Exterminatrix created the robots because eventually she wants to capture America and drain her powers so she can make an army of American robots to take over the world.
I just want to point out that 3 people should have edited this. 3 people. And they could not get correct that she cannot be Latin because she's not from this world.
I know. Oh my god. Also, I pointed that out in my review, and I was like, holy fucking shit. How can she be speaking Spanish in space when she's a fucking alien? That makes no goddamn sense.
Well, here's the thing that I don't understand. How can her normal college classmates without powers beat up super strong robots that were beating the crap out of America and have like super strength and metal chassis, and they beat them up while dance fighting?
Oh, the little
with a Viewmaster on.
Oh, the sorority sisters, right? Also,
that is not a sorority.
Here's my question.
Made after the 1990s is not a sorority.
Was she the one who founded the One Punch Genius Club? Like, they're all super geniuses, but everything they do, they solve it with one punch?
Possibly.
Yeah, they went to the Linkara I am a man meme school of fighting.
Wait. Something. Okay, wasn't she also kind of screwing up the language too with the whole Latin X thing? Because she.
Well, yeah, she was fucking up like a lot of the Spanish stuff too that she had in there.
That I could say it could be the editors. I do think she speaks Spanish, and the editors may fuck up those dialogues because they've even done it with me.
Because it's like, but like the dance troupe and the fact that she wanted to capture America so she could create American robots is the most hilarious shit.
And I'll be honest with you. You know, the best thing that came out of America Chavez was the fact that she got trolled by 4chan. Gabby Rivera got trolled by 4chan. That's the best thing ever.
Well, I have to say I don't hate Quiñones' art. I think when he's he can do good stuff. The problem is if you get a shitty script, there's like as an artist, there's not much you can do. I don't even know if this woman can structure or a script properly. So while seeing the videos and stuff, I noticed there's a lot of lack of backgrounds, and that's very telling. I don't think she ever have any establishing shots or gave a sense of how the composition worked in the pages. I think I think she probably dragged down Quiñones' work, to be honest.
She was supposedly, isn't she like she's like a YA author, I believe.
She has one book, but like
who Rivera?
Yeah, isn't she like a YA author or something?
I have no fucking clue. I thought she was just a racist person they found.
No, there's part of this and part of that, but yeah, I mean, she's not a celebrated author. I mean, we're living in an age where you could go to Amazon and print a fucking book, and not everybody in this chat can do it right now. Yeah, you can just press 6 and have a book that is all 6 and sell it on Amazon.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. I'm pretty sure that Gabby Rivera's interview went like this: I hate white people, and Marvel's like, you're hired.
To be fair, a guy did make a lot of money selling a book called "Reasons to Vote for Democrats" that was entirely
like the YA thing. I think Spike said it best. It's kind of like a scam, but it works. I mean, you can pass off any trash story you want and then call it YA.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even if we go to the real things that they celebrate, for example, Harry Potter or The Fault in Our Stars.
Yeah,
one is a fantasy and the other is a drama, a very down-to-earth drama. What they have in common? Nothing. It's not a genre. It doesn't exist. It's a market.
I just have to. One second. Like, you just have to have like a set of criteria for it. Like, it has to be feminist, it has to be diverse, and it has to be progressive. Sorry, Dalton, go ahead.
And usually,
where's the feminism in Harry Potter?
Feminist. I don't know.
Spew.
It's not there.
Spew. Harry Potter book 5. Hermione actually goes basically magical SJW and tries to liberate the house elves.
Well,
that was funny though because it blows up in her face.
J.K. Rowling has the right politics though, and so does Hank and George Green. That's
true. You don't
maybe you have to, as an author, be an SJW to be considered YA author.
Oh, that's true. You're right. Because if you have the wrong politics, you cannot get yourself published.
No chance of influencing the kids if you have wrong think.
Hey. We don't talk about that here, Englantine. Only happy thoughts. Put on your happy.
Okay, now I'm imagining us all in a version.
Oh my God! I know what I want to do in D&D now. Yes.
Does it involve tinfoil hats?
It's going to oh my God, re-education camps. Holy shit! Yes. That's
what were you saying?
For your slaves.
Yes.
So, what were you saying?
Are we talking about Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes.
Yes.
Guys.
Corrupt is a slave like dealer, and he and who else are you
Neville.
involved with there? I can't.
His name is Neville.
Yeah, him and Neville are like making a thing out of dealing slaves in D&D, and instead of like actual historical slaves, it's orcs instead.
Okay, Mystery, you were trying to say something, weren't you?
No, Dalton was saying something before. I wanted to hear what he
I can't even remember where we were before when I was trying to say what I was trying to say.
Sorry, Dalton. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Yeah, I can't remember. So someone replay like the last couple minutes of what we were talking about, and maybe it'll come back to me.
Yeah, I'll get right on that. So, Mr. E, you're up next.
Did any of you guys see the tweet that was posted, I think, by EPS? The Bright Ones are going to a convention, and a lot of the SJWs found out, including Daryl Ayo and Joe Glass, and according to them going to a convention is a problem that must be addressed.
What?
Yep, I will try and find the tweet.
Yeah, I saw it. I think it was an old thing though. I don't know if it was an old thing or not, but I think I've seen it before, and it goes back to like I think Mitch Breitweister did like a doodle about Donald Trump once, and that's it. That's how he lost his fucking right to be a comic book creator. But Tim Doyle went after. Yeah,
he did a doodle of Trump, and that's what got him canned.
Yeah. This is factual. Like you can look it up. He didn't even say he was like a Trump supporter, a Trump voter. He wasn't really going like, oh yeah, Republicans, fuck you, Democrats. He make a doodle or something. And
wow,
you know they started to attack Elizabeth Breitweister as well, and she's like, I think everybody has seen this post where she says, you don't even know if I'm, my politics because I haven't told them. Why do you keep bothering us? Like, Tim Doyle was going out of his way to harass, the Breitweisters.
Yeah, I remember that shit. And I find it funny that Tim Doyle is doing that. What a piece of shit. That dude, go back to wearing your mankini.
Here's the bigger question. Why is Tim Doyle even a name? All he done is run a shitty print shop.
Because he has hijacked, for example, artwork by Frank Frazetta, and he was doing art prints by he died recently. He did Frankenstein and the Swamp Thing. Bernie Wrightson.
Yeah,
he has rights to Bernie Wrightson's work because he's close to his widow and.
That's a goddamn tragedy, man. Seriously, that's a goddamn tragedy right there.
Funny because there's a lot of people who can verify this. I mean, Weaponized Nerd Rage was there. Edwin Boyette was there. We were talking to the Frazetta girls, and they told us that they didn't like the deal with Doyle and that it was really a bad decision that Frankie Jr. made.
No, sounds like it. That sucks, dude. Because Bernie Wrightson, man, that dude is such an amazing artist, and I loved Frankenstein Alive, and it's a shame that he didn't get a chance to finish it. But dude, fucking Tim Doyle having a right to that. That dude's not fucking worthy.
It's tragic because he actually runs the official Frank Frazetta Facebook along with the guy who wrote 3 Days of Night, Steve Niles, and the widow.
Wow.
Yeah, people in the business do know him. Like, it's kind of like that. But I'm amazed they don't see that he's actually harassing a woman, Elizabeth Breitweister. She has come forward.
And well, they always look the way when it's their side, man. It's like, if DNC, looks funny at a fucking female pro, they're all over that shit. But Tim Doyle do some fucked up shit. People just look the other way.
Well, that's one of the quirks of social justice, the sort of insidiousness of the male feminist in general. Just like,
well, I don't like punching up.
how many times have we, thought everything was fine, and then all of a sudden, whoop, a male feminist, assaulted XYZ person.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Tim Doyle to get Me Too'd or something.
I don't think dogs count as Me Too victims, but
yeah, that's true. But probably if he did try to Me Too somebody, I'm pretty sure they would just punch him in the nuts.
Well, dogs don't count until they start normalizing bestiality, and then it counts.
I actually think if you try to rape a dog, you'd get lynched in the street. I mean, I think it's worse than if you try to rape a person.
Yeah, people love cute animals.
Yeah,
indeed they do. Anyway, enough of Tim Doyle, dude. What a piece of shit.
Hashtag literally who.
Yeah, Tim Doyle, if you ever watch this, I'm pretty sure you won't. You're a fat fuck. You can go fuck yourself. All right, there we go.
I don't know if you're fat, but you're at least an asshole.
Okay, I have to say this. I have to say this. How do you know?
He's very sensitive about his weight. That's why I'm calling him a fat fuck.
He does not have nuts. Like, stop. He has no testicles. You have to have testicles in order to be punched in them. He is maybe walnuts. Maybe.
I mean, I don't think it was like
have you seen that guy who's doing like the Tim Doyle gifs? I think those are hilarious.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's fucking fantastic.
We should make like Comicsgate, the comic or the movie or whatever, and just make fun of these people.
Comicsgate the movie. I got a camera, guys. Go for it.
I have. Is there any like particular direction you want this stream to go?
Not in particular. I mean, I was mainly just want to talk about the whole thing with just what happened over the weekend a little bit. Yeah. Maybe we could talk about what happened on Angleton's stream or whatever you want to go ahead and talk about.
You guys were well, since we're all here, do you guys want to do the Wake for Marvel?
Oh, because, that's not a bad idea. It sounds like Angleton.
Spike, I don't know if you I don't know if you were there, but I declared Marvel's Time of Death to be August 21st, 2018 at 2:41 p.m.
My stomach's also acting a little bit, so I might head off for the night. Like, if you guys do end up but if you guys reschedule the wake, sure, I join that. Unless you're doing it tonight, in which case,
yeah. Yes, it's Angleton who is snoring. So Corrupt, you can give him shit for falling asleep on my stream.
Yes, vengeance is mine.
That was beautiful.
Oh, that's you get like a fucking air horn or something.
You know what's awesome?
Yeah.
What's awesome? You see like Angleton's like cute little chibi avatar here, so you can just imagine it just like sleeping.
Yeah.
Grandpa Angleton goes night.
And so the fan art shall begin. Go internet to your keyboards.
Oh, I'm totally about to pull a Corrupt here.
Well, you were snoring. I wasn't sure if you were just fucking with me or fucking with us but there was some snoring going on.
Oh, did I? Wow.
Yeah.
I fell asleep. I literally just blinked. Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Oh, really? Fuck, sorry, guys.
You missed Corrupt.
Yeah, you blinked and then do 10 minutes.
It was hilarious.
Nah, dude. I woke up real early to go because to the cab stand and holy crap!
Yeah.
Just a little bit ago,
situations where you have no idea you fell asleep and then all of a sudden you find yourself waking up.
Well, that happens. I mean, I laid down on the floor because I pinched my back. I'm like, and it really, it was hurting. And then next thing I know, okay, I guess,
I'm already here.
Yeah.
Well, dude, if you're tired and Corrupt, you need a bail. We can go ahead and call it. It's basically midnight at this point.
All right,
I do have class tomorrow.
That's cool.
I'm awake now. I got myself a nap, but apparently.
let's schedule. We should schedule. Oh, that would be amazing.
Although now I can't roast Corrupt and E for falling asleep on my channel.
Yeah. Corrupt plea for vengeance there a minute ago.
Like we should watch like Marvel cooking the Marvel cooking videos for the weight.
We should try to make those. I mean, I think Sibi knows how to cook, and I think when when the end of the year fiscal report comes in, I think he's gonna have a great cooking channel.
Yeah,
I'm sure he will.
They call it Marvel Eats the Universe. It is the saddest shit you've ever seen. And it's, what's funny though? For some reason, they make Feisty really angry. Like some people get really angry by them. I don't blame them, dude, because this is, playing back into the whole thing with our comics for everyone. This goes back to the whole thing with what Sama Ahmed said about the whole thing about, Marvel's not going to be a boys club anymore, and it's going to be a lifestyle brand, right? Yeah, right.
It's not about fucking comic books anymore. It's going to be a lifestyle brand, and that shit's ridiculous.
Holy shit! How loud was I snoring,
dude? You were really loud. Like everybody can hear.
Damn, because I know my family has told me that if I hit the hay and it's really bad, if I'm really tired, it's really bad, guys. So wow, that's embarrassing.
It was like a 6. Don't worry about it.
We 100% have to do this Marvel week because also
why did you let me ask you, why did you call it like the Time of Dead?
Because that was when I read that article about Marvel, in addition to have a cooking show, has this talk show called Earth's Mightiest Show or whatever. And they were mentioning about how this female athlete is, breaking down barriers and whatever for, black women. And it's like, this has absolutely nothing to do with comics. This is the end.
Oh, I saw that.
Remember, it's about lifestyle now. It's not about fucking comic books anymore. Because clearly,
that's why I called the death for Marvel Comics. I also have a cause of death now.
I have a theory about it, though. I think it's a two-parter. The first one is Disney does own like ESPN or something like that, and they might be cross-promoting. But even if you're cross-promoting, why do you cross-promote with Marvel? We don't care about fucking sports. That's why we read comics.
I'm pretty sure that the cause of death, Mr. E, is cancer of the ass.
No, it's overconsumption of soy.
Yeah. And cancer of the ass. All right. Overconsumption of soy.
Cancer of the ass caused by overconsumption of soy.
Exactly.
Yeah,
there we
exactly.
go. All right, guys, let's get to the shilling. We will start from right to left this time, starting with Spike. Good sir.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. Don't remember to leave a like and stuff like that. And you can find me on Twitter. I'm new to Twitter. This is Spiked. Everything crunched together. This is Spiked, and I have a YouTube channel where I rant and bullshit. It's youtube.com/SpikeValentine13. And going to Mr. E.
All right,
Mr. E.
Mr. E2099. You can find me on Twitter and YouTube. I'm trying to start off my podcast, but we had a couple people drop out last time, so I will be rescheduling it. And I have another video planned about how Marvel is now anti-money.
Gonna check that out.
Yeah, definitely. Eglantine.
Hey, I'm very happy I could contribute tonight. I
before sleeping.
Gang. Yeah. Sorry about that, gang.
Grandpa just went to bed early, kids.
Yep. If you don't know me, I am from I Love Comics, Eglantine here, and let's see. Tomorrow, gonna do a daytime live stream. I've got the family with me. We're gonna talk about certain things, and we're going to also do a live stream on Mad About the Mouse to celebrate 100 subscribers in just a month. So I'm like happy about that because I remember how bad it is to try to grow a channel from scratch.
Congrats, dude. Congrats.
That one's a fun to do. So we're going to be talking about Disney stuff on that one, and tomorrow night is the big birthday thing that I don't know if y'all remember last month I was chilling for, and gonna just talk and chat, and I'm going to force my daughter to say thank you the way a Chinese government official would force a figure skater who did a poor job to say I'm sorry, because you got to rule with an iron fist.
Public shaming.
Mm-hmm. Nah, it's all good. It's all good. And some she's been on enough live streams in the comment section over at my channel that might as well say hi.
Yeah.
Dalton.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I am Dalton Mortimer. I am the Authenticator. My channel is the Authenticator. My content is a series of audio-only unscripted rants, which I call Storm Before the Calm rants. You can follow me on Twitter at the Authenticator, which is spelled without the U, and you can follow me just about everywhere else at the Authenticator, spelled properly. Cheers, everyone.
Corrupt.
What?
What? Whatever that was.
Corrupt was played by Englentine.
Name's Corrupt. You can find me at Corrupt YouTube. I'm going to change my channel name because you cannot find my channel like that. But Corrupt at YouTube. I make comic. I like review quote unquote terrible comics that should never be viewed by anyone. My next review is going to be of Diaper Man, the diapered superhero. Yes.
Is that written by the guy who sent the sexual harassment to PBS?
No, this is somebody else entirely.
It's a parody comic. Didn't they already make that? Wasn't it called Captain Underpants? And it was like a series.
No, it's really not. No, it's like a weird fetish parody comic. It's bizarre as hell. It's gonna be amazing.
And someday we'll get him to read good comics, folks. But until then, he's a cringe addict.
But not today.
We need an intervention.
Seriously, we really do, man. It's kind of sad.
You will read Watchmen. You will read Watchmen and
like it.
Yes.
And Sandman.
Okay, on one condition though, comics division.
You
have to read something cringy with me.
Like what?
I'll find something.
We need to do the cringe off like we were talking about doing with a Savage Dragon.
Omaha the Cat Dancer from the 1980s. You should read that. Have you ever heard of that one, Corrupt?
The hell is that? What did you say?
Omaha the Cat Dancer. Look it up.
Yeah, I've heard of it. It's basically kind of like furry porn.
And you already said you wanted me involved when you do the school shooting comic. So
yes.
Does that come out this week?
The school shooting? Oh, that comic, the Champions comic, right? That one?
Yeah.
Man, I really need to go to the comic store. I didn't go last week at all. So, and I'm debating whether I'll have time tomorrow. I may. I don't know. This whole moving thing has really kind of fucked my schedule up. So I'm probably going to try and do one last live stream before moving. That will have to be tomorrow. Because Thursday I can't do that. I can't do a stream because I'm probably going to have to get up pretty early. Because what's happening Thursday is I go to closing on the house that my wife and I are buying, and we are literally moving the next day. Initially, it was supposed to be like the 3rd, but they had a cancellation. And so, yeah. I'm not sure how long I'll be radio silent after that. I should have internet relatively soon, which means all I have to do is take my modem and plug it in, and I should hopefully have stuff. But I don't know. We'll see how much time I have on my hands as we put together the new house. But in the meantime, folks, if you're out there, why don't you go ahead and hit that like button if you enjoyed this live stream. And if you're new to the channel and you kind of enjoyed the banter and whatnot that was going on tonight, do me a huge ass favor and hit that subscribe button, because more subs would be great. I'm tired of the counter ticking down and then occasionally back up. And also, if you want to get notification, if you want to get notified when I actually go live and do streams, hit that bash that bell for instant notifications. I don't know if YouTube really knows what the definition of instant notifications are, because it seems like everybody gets them like 30 minutes into the stream.
Don't bash the bell. That's horribly violent. Just stroke it gently and love it.
Indeed.
And also, would it count as ableist because Quasimodo?
I love how I love
what? What?
Quasimodo is deformed. Would bashing bells count as ableist because he's the quintessential bell ringer?
Also, I love how this exhausted comics division is by just like my general comments about shit.
World.
Like that?
Yeah. You're very good at that whole exasperation thing sometimes, Corrupt.
Yes.
Indeed. Anyway, yeah, I think that's it.
I think so too.
Go.
All right. Good night, folks. See you next time. Angleton, tomorrow night.
Say again?
Are you having a stream tomorrow night?
Tomorrow in the daytime. Tomorrow night is the where I'm taking my daughter out to.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. All right. So I'll have a stream tomorrow night, as long as it's not, conflicting with somebody else's. All right, folks. Until next time, enjoy your reads. Good night.
Take